a shelter for my soul, an understanding of the greater plan. In these walls I've seen the light of love pure and divine. Helps me remember who I really am. In every face it's clear, we're all God's children here. And it feels like home, it feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home, it feels like home. A family that I can call my own. It feels like home. It's a place to share your burden. It's safe to shed a tear, say a prayer and raise your voice in song, where every heart is honored and every path is true. No one's here to judge you right or wrong. And there's no shame, no sin in this place where love begins. And it feels like home, it feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home, it feels like home. A family that I can call my own. It feels like home.
As we begin this morning, let us take a minute or two to arrive here together. By drawing inwardly, closing eyes if that's comfortable, breathing slowly, deeply, or sinking into these chairs that hold us up. We open to the present moment and we feel presence. This is the secret place of the soul where complete quiet reigns. All separation evaporates. I build this place of quiet connection in presence as a container for all my experiences. Within my cocoon, issues and problems are right-sized. Pain and discomforts soften. Here, I rest. I listen. I wait. I wonder. Faith, hope, inspiration, and wisdom trickle into my conscious awareness. I am safe. I am content. I am peace. My vitality is renewed. My place of peace is my place of receptivity. In this place of my creation, I make myself available to a wisdom that lies beyond the edges of my individual mind. From my place of peace, I navigate peace-filled, cooperative connections with the people around me, and these connections become a source of love and joy. Gratitude and goodwill will flow naturally from my place of peace. Today I make inner peace and renewal my priority and my way of life. And so it is.
It feels like home. It feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home. It feels like home. A family that I can call my own. It feels like home. It feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. can call my own. It feels like home.
Courage is the price that life exacts for granting peace. The soul that knows it not knows no release from little things, knows not the livid loneliness of fear, nor mountain heights where bitter joy can hear the sound of wings. How can life grant us boon of living, compensate for dull gray ugliness and pregnant hate, unless we dare the soul's dominion? Each time we make a choice, we pay with courage to behold the resistless day and count it fair.
I am a child of the living God, made in the image of perfect love. All that I am, all I've been given, to you, my God, I surrender. I surrender. I am a child of the living God, made in the image of perfect love. All that I am, all I've been given, to you, my God, I surrender. I surrender.
Good morning, everyone. We're a small group, but we're mighty. So Michelle and John left Friday to start setting up for Unitreat, and we've got 6 kids going there, and Stacy left this morning to drive a few. And so we are going to have an awesome time, but if you could send blessings to that whole Uniteens group so they have a wonderful retreat. They won't be back until Friday. So, yeah. So.
Thank you for being our family. Thank you for being our friend. Thank you for blessing and teaching us. God bless you. Amen. All that I am, all I've been given, to you, my God, I surrender.
Perhaps we'll get to hear a little bit about that experience they're having. I'm sure it will be memorable. Well, good morning. Welcome to Unity in Lynnwood. It is my great joy to see all of you here today. My hope is that you will not walk away from this place unfed, but that you will be buoyed and boosted, maybe consoled or filled up with inexplicable joy. But warning, the desire for this can become habit forming. Here's a tip. One sure way to fill your joy bucket is to give it away by extending your welcome to someone that you haven't met before. But another warning, that too can be habit forming. It tends to be very rewarding. So glad to see you here. Happy Father's Day to anyone in the room who is a father. And I also will acknowledge that on many of these special days, they sometimes come as a bit of a mixed blessing. Some of us will cherish fond memories, be filled with gratitudes. Others will feel sadness, regrets, or longing. And sometimes it can be a bit of all of those things all mixed up together. We're complex. An idea I've heard since coming to Unity is it's never too late to write a new story. And we're reminded here that when we gather, these finest qualities that we've looked for out there in others, much of our lives, are actually hidden in the very depths of you and me. So perhaps today we celebrate the ways we might become protector, or guide or comforter or example to someone in our lives now. Everyone is welcome here at Unity in Lynnwood. Today, we especially welcome you. We celebrate each person's innate longing to live into their highest and best self. We celebrate not only the human, but the divine part of each one of us. It doesn't matter where you're coming from, how you live, where you live, or whether you come from some religious training or none at all. You are welcome to our intentional, inclusive community. We have room for your gifts and for your light to shine among us. I'm hoping that you will be able to stay for refreshments after service today in the Friendship Hall. This is a great way to get to know someone you've not yet had the pleasure of knowing. Today is Giver Circle Sunday, so I'll let you know a bit about this planned giving program. Through Giver Circle, people standardize giving, and we make it automatic by using our credit card or a bank account withdrawal. The program is very safe and flexible. It can be changed at any time. It's easy and convenient for the users, and it provides very helpful information to our Board of Trustees for planning. So if you do find consistent value in our services, please consider being a member of the Giver Circle program. Forms for signing up for the program are in the information rack right to the left of the door as you exit. And for those of us who belong to Giver Circle, we make these cards available in the foyer and also these little stones, whichever is your preference, or both. Just sometimes feels good to physically participate in the ritual of giving. When you hear prayer in a unity context, most likely that person is referring to affirmative prayer. Linda Martella-Whitsett, Unity minister, author, speaker, workshop leader who will be with us within a week. She writes this about prayer. Prayer is a wonderful tool for recalling our divine identity when we have forgotten. She says we are the answer to our prayers as we realize what we are to be in a circumstance. Linda names the powers that Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore taught as the 12 powers, things you hear frequently: wisdom, love, strength, power, understanding, will. There are more. There are 12 of the 12 powers. I'm wondering if anyone else has ever had the experience of reaching for your divine qualities at the moment of need and having them maybe evaporate. Well, Linda would say practice. She says practice will make progress, and it will turn these qualities into habits, with the result being greater ease and consistency in calling on the spiritual truths every day. And I do want you to listen during announcements for an opportunity. We have an upcoming opportunity for deepening our understanding of prayer. I find it a concept I've really wanted, needed, and enjoyed chewing on. And it doesn't stand still for me. It continually evolves. So we have a great opportunity coming. We provide opportunities for practicing prayer here all the time, and we make them very easy for you. You can grab a prayer slip, which looks a lot like this. It's right in the back of a chair in front of you. Write your prayer on the slip and then slip it into the offering basket when it comes around. Of course, we do offer a confidential prayer line that's always available, and links through our website where you can access prayer support. You can leave your prayer right there. And our prayer chaplains spend devoted hours responding to these prayers that are submitted. Of course, the most personal way of accessing prayer is to pair up one-on-one individually in person with a professional prayer. Our prayer chaplains truly enjoy meeting with people. I think I did make up a word. You don't think of yourselves as prayers. They are honored to meet with you at the front of the sanctuary at the end of any service. So I'm going to ask our prayer chaplains to stand right now just so we can say thanks for the hours of service they provide to Unity in Lynnwood. Thank you. Affirmations are positive statements of highest truths. By affirming positive beliefs as a regular habit, we make it possible to bring forth our highest gifts in the thick of things. So let me share today's. It's one that kind of needs a shout out at the very end. And I'm going to say it like I mean it. I am outrageously courageous, deliciously daring, and brazenly bold because I know my source. Please stand if you are able, and we will share this one together. Ready? I am outrageously courageous, deliciously daring, and brazenly bold because I know my source. Let's take a minute and say hi to each other.
Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Take all my vicious words and turn them into something good. Take all my preconceptions and let the truth be understood. Take all my prized possessions, leave only what I need. Take all my pieces of doubt and let me be what's underneath. Courage is when you're afraid, but you keep on moving anyway. Courage is when you're in pain, but you keep on living anyway. We all have excuses why living in fear, something in us dies. Like a bird with broken wings, it's not how high he flies, but the song he sings. Courage is when you're afraid, but you keep on moving anyway. Courage is when you're in pain, but you keep on living anyway. You keep on living anyway. It's not how many times you've been knocked down, it's how many times get back up. Courage is when you've lost your way, but you find your strength anyway. Courage is when you're afraid. Courage is when it all seems great. Courage is when you make a change and you keep on living anyway. You keep on moving anyway. You keep on giving anyway. You keep on loving anyway.
Oh. Whew. Truth, according to Miley Cyrus there. Isn't that a nice little song? Not Miley Cyrus? Are you sure? Well, that's an awkward moment right there, isn't it? Good morning. Welcome to Unity in Lynnwood. Welcome to Unity in Lynnwood, and welcome to Unity in Lynnwood. I'm very happy to see you. This is the last Sunday to register for Linda Martella Whitsett. She will be with us Friday evening and all day Saturday for a retreat entitled Divine Audacity. Embody Your True Self. The $99 registration fee includes all materials, all catered meals. You may sign up in the back using a paper form or register online. Of course, Marianne Williamston will be in town on June 30th. It's a Saturday evening event at Edmonds Center for the Arts. We are proud to be the host and producing organization for the Seattle leg of her Love America tour. Please consider securing a ticket through the Edmonds Center for the Arts.org website and or sharing the event via your social media page. Let's share this wonderful opportunity. Fellowship groups. It was announced last week that Cheryl Jones and Nancy Parle, co-chairs of our small group ministry, are launching a new program. If you would like to continue Sunday's conversation during the week, there are multiple geographic locations from which you might choose. Simply register in the back. There are fellowship group cards as well that you may grab on your way into the sanctuary on any given Sunday. It affords you the opportunity to take notes or to jot an idea for further discussion. Every service has an ambassador. This person's role is to support you in your exploration and discovery of this unfolding, evolving idea we call Unity in Lynnwood. If you have a question about what we believe, about what we teach, about what is available to you, and there's a lot that's available to you, please engage her in conversation. Her name is Nan Allen. Will you wave to these kind people, please? Nan. Let's take a deep breath together. Repeat after me if you feel so inclined. The words of Mr. Fillmore read as follows. These are his words of invocation. I am now in the presence of pure being.
I am now in the presence of pure being.
That says a lot. I am now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. And immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I acknowledge your presence and your power, O blessed Spirit. I acknowledge your presence and your power, O blessed Spirit. In your divine wisdom, now release my mortal limitations. In your divine wisdom, now release my mortal limitations, and from your pure substance of love, bring into manifestation my world. Bring into manifestation my world according to your perfect law.
According to
I was in Kansas City last week. I was with 500 Unity leaders in intensive convention. And of course, as the conversation turns on the shuttle bus, how did you enjoy the convention? Did you like it? And my answer was a resounding yes. I absolutely loved it. I loved convention. And of course, the intuitive self would say, oh, well, he must have agreed with everything that was said. Clearly, they affirmed everything he's doing in Lynnwood, Washington. No, that's not exactly the way it worked. I loved convention, not because I agreed with everything that was presented, but because I left having been provoked. I loved it because it challenged me, because it gave me a conversation which continues for me even now. That's what I loved about it. You know, I think it's very dangerous to surround ourselves with people who don't challenge us. In a very real sense, I think the mechanism of religion, the big business of religion, is in the business of doing exactly that. It's in the business of putting people together who can agree with each other and affirm each other out of self-preservation. I don't think it's working. I listened to a minister. Her name was Reverend Joyce Fisher Price. When asked about her age, she responded by saying, "I'm as old as God and as young as this instant." And I found myself, cracked open a little bit. She offered some affirmations for the church. She offered, and I will insert our name, Unity and Lynnwood, in me are one, and a divine magnet, mightily attracting abundant prosperity, health, wealth, love, and joy to Unity and Lynnwood and all who come here right now, and so it is. What do you think about that one? Found myself cracked open a little bit. For ministers, she offered this one. I am a magnificent, compassionate, radiantly successful, vibrantly healthy Unity and minister with a glorious, prosperous, continually growing, dynamic congregation. Thank you, God. And I found myself cracked open a little bit. Can I live in that? I am willing. I attended a prosperity seminar in which the presenter said, if you want to expand the experience of prosperity in your manifest world, look at what it is that you say you value. Look at what it is that you say you value, and then determine whether or not you spend your money on that. And I was cracked open a little bit by that. I attended a seminar by Reverend Edwin Gaines, who said, your primary job is to love them. That's your job. Your job is to love them. And I was cracked open a little bit. Why? Because how tempting is it to make papers more important than people? How tempting is it to make email and administration more important than having a little prayer time with you? And I was cracked open a little bit. It was Edwin who also went on to say, when I was in ministerial school, and I understand that Edwin is one of our most revered teachers, one of our most magnetic speakers. She told a story of being in ministerial school, offering her first graded lesson. So she showed up with her note cards, all annotated, organized, deeply researched, brimming with facts and figures, humor inserted at every appropriate moment. And she delivered her talk flawlessly, only to look up to see the faculty snoring. And so it was that she determined that she would do better. And so during her second talk, she showed up with her note cards, carefully organized, brimming with scholarship, humor injected at every right place, only to stand up and lose her note cards. So she delivered her talk with absolutely no note cards. She completed only to look up to see her faculty standing and applauding her work. And I found myself cracked open a little bit by that. You know, I consider myself a writer. I absolutely love the written word. Every article is carefully chosen. I love assembling it for you. I love researching it. I love the written word. And yet the moment, the gift that Edwene provided was the realization that as much as I love it, I know in my heart of hearts that I hide behind it. Okay? I know in my heart of hearts that I hide behind it. It's not to say that I won't ever write again, but when I write, it will be because I have established dominion. It will be because I have chosen to do so, not because I am a slave to my own comfort. So I think the question becomes, in what ways might we limit our own unfoldment based upon comfort? It's very easy to talk about how we might limit our own unfoldment based upon the ideas we would call shadow, based upon our own past failures, based upon our own sense of limitation, based upon our genetics, based upon what our parents told us. However, I would offer, in what ways might we limit our own unfoldment because we are comfortable? How are we doing so far? So it is that on this particular Sunday in this particular place, I offer what I believe is probably the most dramatic moment in my 5 years of ministry. Take a deep breath with me, won't you? I'll take a deep breath with you. Here we go. Okay. You know, I think in normative religion, in traditional religion, there was a paradigm in which the person who stood before you, that authority, would somehow do it better, or would somehow have a more direct connection to that cosmic idea we call God, or would somehow wield a greater authority in the spiritual realm. I don't believe that's true. I don't believe you have any right to expect me to be perfect, but I believe you have every right to expect me to be in the game with you. I believe you have every right to expect me to be on the path, to be engaged, to be trying, to be stretching. If I ask you to demonstrate and to trust that there is something operative within you that is ample, you have every right to expect that I would stretch into it as well. So that's what this morning is about. It's really about courage, because I'm here to tell you to stand before you calls me into courage. I like you that way, too. Thank you, Colleen. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being supportive. Thank you for allowing me to stretch. Now, I'm not big into God winks. I'm open to it, but historically I've not been really big into it. However, this morning I was choosing Nancy Joy's poem. I always choose the poems after I've written my lesson. And I knew that today would be about courage, simply because of my own inner experience. So I began to look for a poem that addressed courage, and of course I stumbled upon the piece by Amelia Earhart. I love Amelia Earhart. I mean, what a life of courage. And I thought, this is perfect, so I added it to Nancy Joy's file, and I sent it to the office, and then I began to do some more research behind that, and on this day in history, I accepted it as something of a cosmic wink that her transatlantic flight began on June 17th. And I thought, okay, if there is a wink, I'll accept that as a wink. I'll accept that as a wink. So, lest you come to believe that this entire experience is simply my own self-indulgent experience, I'd like to offer you a little bit of something about what unity teaches. Are you ready? Unity is a religion of one. Hold up one finger. Religion of one. We believe that there is one transcendent ultimate reality that expressed from its perfect unity into an equally perfect multiplicity. The soul sitting to your right is an expression of that ultimate reality. And that soul sitting to your left is an expression of that ultimate reality. There are not two forces battling it out for possession of your soul. The devil didn't make you do anything. There is one ultimate reality by whatever name we choose to call it, and because we gather in buildings such as this, on mornings such as this, let's agree to call it God. And it is one. It was in Deuteronomy that it was expressed, and forgive me for interpreting ancient Semitic languages with Rabbi Ted in the audience, but here we go. In Deuteronomy, it was expressed something like this: indivisible, eternal one. That's how God was referenced. Eternal, indivisible one. How about that? Eternal, indivisible beingness. Eternal, indivisible isness. There is one ultimate reality by whatever name we choose to call it, and it expressed and expresses from its perfect unity into an equally perfect multiplicity. It knows itself as life. You are an expression of life. You did not begin when you assumed this earthly form. You will not end when you lay that earthly form down. It knows itself as wisdom. You are an expression of wisdom, and it knows itself as love. You are an expression of love. Do you know the early schools that rose in the first century in the geography shared by Jesus? These were schools of inclusion. These were schools that thought much more along these lines. You know, this exclusionary mindset that has since arisen, that has become so strong, really was quite the exception in the era that followed Jesus. Inclusion was the spirit of the teachings of his ministry. So there is one. It knows itself to be life, to be love, to be wisdom, and to be sufficiency. It knows itself to be sufficiency. Shall we affirm some of these things? Just say yes. Go with me on this. Go with me on this. Try this for me. I am an expression of life.
I am an expression of life.
I am an expression of wisdom.
I am an expression of wisdom.
I am love itself.
I am love itself.
I am walking, talking, living, breathing, sufficiency. The second thing that unity teaches is that you are an expression of this, that if there is one ultimate reality, you cannot stand apart from ultimate reality. You cannot stand outside of it. You know, what we have done by leveraging decontextualizing spiritual ideas to live small lives is really quite spiritually unfounded. You cannot stand apart from that life that sources all of life. You cannot stand apart from the wisdom that sources all wisdom. You cannot stand apart from that font of sufficiency, from that font of love that is the reality behind these trees, the reality behind the souls who have gathered here this morning, the reality behind the rocks, even though you can't see it. You cannot stand apart from it. You are a part of it. People in New Thought, ancient wisdom often bump into the uncomfortable saying, I am God. Well, that is awkward. Boy, that smacks right up against our embedded theology. The pantheistic idea that there is an allness to God is the paradigm from which such sayings arise. I would interpret unity to be a pantheistic pursuit, really, which means there is an allness to God. There is an allness to God. You cannot stand outside of it, and even so, God is greater. God is greater. God does not partition itself. You don't get a little part of God and you get a little part of God. The fullness of God is right where you are, and even still, God is greater. Doing okay? The third thing that unity teaches is that there is a creative center to you. I like to call it consciousness. Other terms that are loosely synonymous would be perhaps a belief system. There is a creative part of you that is ever engaged with this ultimate reality and the creative experience that is your earthly life. Okay? This consciousness dictates the earthly experience that you attract yourself to and which you are capable of seeing. It is entirely possible to have blinders of consciousness on that are so restrictive that you become like the fish in water praying to get wet. It is possible to be immersed in plenty and to be incapable of seeing it. It's entirely possible to walk into room after room after room, and in every room to draw yourself to exactly the same person in a different body. It's entirely possible to do that because of this creative center that is ever spinning and working in you and through you. The good news is, according to unity, is that this creative center of you can be changed. It can be grown. In fact, I would argue that we as a society are growing that. You know, that which was acceptable 1,000 years ago is no longer acceptable. That which was active in societies 2,000 years ago, no longer acceptable. We are growing. We are changing. It is not always easy. It's not always easy. I love the idea of the prayer taught by the rabbi. You do understand Jesus was not a Christian. Have we gone over this before? Jesus did not start Christianity. Are we still okay? We're still in the same room. You know, God's not a Christian either. I guess, you know, I'm in the business of snapping you, really, as well. Just go ahead and we'll be uncomfortable together. God's not a Christian either. I like the idea of the prayer that the rabbi taught his people in one version in which he said, Our Father, the power of the word our. You know, Father, it might be interpreted that he could have said Abba. It would have been warm. It would have been a familiar address. Another way of interpreting or translating that would be householder. Okay, our householder. Now, in modern context, that may lack some meaning. In that context, the householder would have been the one who cared about all of his children. How about that? Our householder. Our, not the Christian householder, not the Jewish householder, not the agnostic householder, but our, the universal householder. The householder who embraces all is how the prayer began. What do you think? You okay with that? I've invited Bishop Kathy Chalmers to issue an invitation to you. I've led into it perfectly by introducing the Our Father, which is, of course, so sacred to the Catholic tradition. And how beautiful is it that we have a community of devout Catholics and devout Jews and people who are embraced for their agnosticism and hugged for their atheism, and that we're all together having a common conversation. How beautiful is that? I have to tell you, it gives me hope for the world, because if we can do it at Unity in Lynnwood, we can do it on the greater playing field. That gives me hope. And you know, religion, when we come to understand that we are a movement of one, then what is religion? Religion simply becomes the lens through which we explore and experience that one. That's exactly what it is. It is just as appropriate for the Catholic to explore and experience the divine through Catholicism as it is for the metaphysician to explore and experience the divine through metaphysics, as it is for the Jew to explore and experience the divine through Judaism. These are lenses through which we explore and experience the divine, each lens capable of enriching and blessing our own pursuit. I know, it's the longest introduction in the world. Would you be willing to invite us? Tell us what you have going on, please. Bishop Kathy Chalmers.
I love him. Don't we? Oh my goodness. And I have to tell you, it is daunting to go unscripted, so well done, sir. So back in April, we did a thing in here, and I know some of you were here, probably lots of you were here. We did a thing in here in this room on a Saturday evening where I received some really beautiful gifts, including the imparting of divine life, love, and wisdom into the top of my head. Back in April, I had the sacred, humbling honor of being made a bishop in this very room. And afterwards, a lot of folks had questions about the ritual, the Mass. People, through the months that we've been doing the interfaith programming so far, and thank you for that, by the way. People have questions about the Mass. What is it? What are you doing up there? What are you saying, and where does it come from? Well, my next Mass is this coming Saturday, following what will be, no doubt, a beautiful retreat with Linda Martella Whitsett. Right after that, at 5:30 next Saturday, I will be celebrating my first Mass as a bishop. And I would love to invite you all to come if you, especially because I'm going to, instead of preaching from a script in a normal fashion, I'm going to take the opportunity to sort of comment upon the Mass as it goes along and explain the elements of the ritual, the liturgy, what does it mean, what's the vocabulary, so that maybe I can answer a few questions. And sort of, people experience the Mass, I think, as a mystery in sort of a worldly, shrouded way. And what I'd like to do is open a portal for you to see the mystery of it as an opportunity for a mystical experience rather than an opportunity for sitting in a chair being slightly bewildered. So if you're so inclined, please feel welcome as always. It's an entirely inclusive experience in every way. And I will be revealing some portals.
Beautiful.
Blessings.
Thank you. A bridge builder. How about that? Building bridges of understanding. Thank you for being here. The fourth idea that we teach says again that consciousness can be changed, that we can be grown, we can be expanded, that we can unfold ever higher aspects of ourselves as individuals and as a collective. Do you have a prayer request today? We're going to go into a time of meditation, a time of prayer, and I'd like to include your prayer request. If you can state it in one word, I'd love to hear it right from where you're sitting. What would you have us hold to center in this time of meditation and prayer?
The unity.
Kids, of course. Peace. Freedom. Wholeness. Clarity. Compassion. Conscious awareness, growth. Yes. Courage. Acceptance and forgiveness. Friendship. Yes. Courage. Healing. Mm-hmm. Self-acceptance, healing. So let's take a few minutes. Tools. Unity offers tools. This is the good news. Service, study, inspiration, and of course, prayer. Of course, meditation. Let's begin by placing our feet on the floor. Let's become willing, just for a short time, to relax. To be fully here, fully now. I believe higher wisdom operates most easily without the obstructions of fear. So let's agree to set that aside for a time. Without the obstructions of projection into an imagined future, without the obstructions of clinging to a remembered past. Let's just set those aside for a time. Let's breathe. Let's just continue to follow that breath to that expansive inner realm. I like to think that people in every world tradition know to close their eyes. Why? Yet again, because this world is a world of illusion. It's a world of partiality. It's a world of effect. We close our eyes that we might know a truth that cannot be revealed through five senses. I like to think of that. So we follow the breath to that place. Just be with that for a few minutes. was Judaism's most famous rabbi. It was Christianity's central avatar who over 50 times in the Christian letters offered some iteration of the charge to ask, to create something of a receptivity in consciousness. 50 times. So into this consciousness of receptivity, into this consciousness of preparedness, we speak words of eternal truth. There is one power and one presence in the universe and in my life. I call it God. It is a power, it is a presence that knows itself as life, it knows itself as wisdom, it knows itself as love, it knows itself as sufficient and sufficiency. So where there would appear to be anything less than vibrant life, I am an expression of life itself. Together I am an expression of life itself. Where there would appear to be anything less than wisdom, any state of confusion, any state of seeming incompletion, I speak the words, I am an expression of wisdom. Together I am an expression of wisdom. Where there would appear to be any discord, disharmony, I am an expression of divine love. Together I am an expression of divine love. Lack, limitation, seeming walls of impossibility. We respond by saying, I am an expression of God's sufficiency. Together I am an expression of God's sufficiency. We breathe that in. Just breathe it in. Dance with it. Entertain it. Entertain it. Make it welcome. We do the world no favors by arguing for God's smallness. Life, wisdom, love, sufficiency. Wow. Wow. So we respond to this time of meditation, this time of divine argument, this time of treatment, if you will, this time of prayer, by allowing a sense of gratitude to rise in the heart. And with that sense of gratitude, we bring forth a sense of expectancy, a sense of anticipation, even a sense of excitement. Even a sense of excitement. It brings us the fundamental question, how will my God dazzle me today? How will my God amaze me today? And it is this consciousness that I carry back into my earthly experience. It is this consciousness that I share with all whom I would encounter. It is from this consciousness that I will not be swayed, no matter the apparitions, the partial truths, the limitations that would approach me, I will not be swayed. If this is what it means to be the light, then so I shall be the light. I close by saying, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is. So Unity would say one more thing. Unity would say a lot of things. One more important thing, you can show up on a Sunday morning and be entertained for an hour if you like to. You can. You can show up and entertain these ideas. You can dance with them. You can theorize about them. You can even have good conversation about them over coffee, but they will do absolutely nothing for you unless you practice them in your life. So you can show up for an hour on Sunday morning, but in truth, it's what you do when you get out of bed on Monday morning that will make a difference to your expressed experience. So get your fellowship cards, connect with each other, and practice. Practice, practice. How do you get to Carnegie Hall, my friends at Unity and Lynnwood? Practice, practice, practice. You are gracious. You are kind. Thank you for indulging me. I love walking with you. Truly I do.
I just have to point out this visual affirmation. He went to the edge and he soared. And you've had your standing ovation, so thank you. It's a great image. I love images like that carry deep meaning. Inspiring for us all to step beyond that comfort zone. This is the time in each week's service when we pause to provide you an opportunity to give back to this community, something in the way of financial gifts. It appears that Unity in Lynnwood's footprint is extending now beyond these walls and our Sunday services here together. This is quite exciting. Our Facebook presence is just one bit of evidence of that. If you find inspiration in our message and from your participation in this community, we hope you will support the work through your tithes and love offerings. Thank you ahead of time.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen.
On behalf of all of us, we give thanks together again that the living spirit of love and the law of circulation multiply all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. And so it is. Thank you, ushers, for your service, and a thank you to everyone who helps pull off our Sunday morning. It takes many, 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 many hands. This is a moment when I have a chance to just pause to recognize anyone who might be with us for the first time. We don't try to put people on the spot, but it gives us great joy to extend welcome to you. If you wouldn't mind, I see an eager hand. I see several. Thank you very much for letting us know and for being with us. I'll share just a little bit to help you get oriented here. There is a DVD right to the left of the door in the information rack, and this shows you some of the activities that go on here at Unity in Lynnwood. We have lots of things happening these days. You'll find a newcomer's information card. You may have already found it in the back of the chair in front of you, and we'd like to put you on our mailing list if you have interest in that. It only results in a couple of emails a month. That form is right in the back of the chair in front of you as well. So very nice to have your presence. Please join us for refreshment in the Friendship Hall if you're able. I have a few announcements now. Always a reminder to check the welcome and information station because indeed we can't say it all. I want to thank Kathleen McEwen for the weekly floral arrangements. Thank you, Kathleen. They are beautiful, and we appreciate you and your artistry week after week after week. If you'd like to dedicate flowers, please register in the gift shop for a suggested offering of only $10. And here's that opportunity that I mentioned. Adult education continues with the fourth principle, Living the Powerful Life, on Tuesdays in July at 7 p.m. Dr. Richard will share with us the fourth of Unity's 5 tenets that encourages prayer as a powerful spiritual tool. Prayer is effective to the degree to which it changes us, our perception of ourselves, our beliefs about the world in which we live, our fundamental ideas about God itself. Explore this important shift from prayers designed to change God to prayers designed to change you and me. Students will have the opportunity to form ongoing prayer partnerships during this class. And as I mentioned, Dr. Richard is facilitating. Unity's Health and Wellness Ministry has a few offerings here. The first is our monthly The Body is the Temple of the Soul, designed to uplift spirits as we energize and integrate body, mind, and soul through gentle movement set to music. This is always facilitated by Nancy Joy Callahan. And please bring a mat or a blanket to that event. A second event is Qigong, an ancient Chinese healthcare system that integrates physical postures, breathing techniques, and focused intention. This 2-week series of hour-long classes is geared for beginners and facilitated by Anila Goldie. Maybe you wave your hand, Anila. Thank you. Goldie, as we know her as Goldie. And the third opportunity here is for a walk around Green Lake, being led by Kitty Akamoto. It will happen on Monday, July 9th. Please meet at Unity in Lynnwood by 9 a.m. with a snack lunch, water, jacket, and plan to return here by 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Interfaith presents Death Cafe with Reverend Karuna Duval on Saturday, July 14th at 9 a.m. Karuna, maybe you could wave. Thank you. And the format is eat, drink, and discuss death that we might make, excuse me, the most of life now. And I can't announce it without giving a plug because I went to that event the first time it happened, and I know I am not the only one. We had a good turnout. It was a profound experience for most of us, and we found ourselves eager, hungry for an opportunity like that. I do recommend that you give it a try. I want to let you know that the humanitarian outreach team will be collecting canned packages and dried foods for the Lynnwood Food Bank during the first 3 Sundays in July. So maybe think ahead and get your offerings ready. And now I want to invite our bookshop keepers up to the platform. Susan and Marion, they have a drawing for us. We don't want it rigged. No, absolutely. I'll do it blind, I promise. CJ.
CJ Arnada.
I don't see CJ at this moment. Do we have to be present to win? No. All right, CJ is our winner. No. All right. We'll let CJ know she is the winner. And for all the good things that are happening, check the Welcome and Information Station or your calendar or our website or our Facebook page. Lots of ways to be informed.
And I would like to thank these two ladies as well, because they've put so much new energy and excitement into the gift shop. If you haven't been in there lately, you should stop in. It's amazing. And I will be in the back of the, yes, thank you. Yeah. And I will be in the back of the room if anyone would like to come to the Linda Martella Whitsitt retreat but has questions. She is really one of Unity's amazing teachers. We have 8 spots left. I would really love to see it filled. And she is actually the director of Silent Unity, so please join us. If you'll join me, we'll sing our peace song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
So the Latin root of courage is cor, which translates roughly to heart. Courage has morphed into this idea of being heroic. That's really not accurate. The true root of courage means I am willing to show my full heart to you. How about that? To be courage is to be willing to be vulnerable with each other. What do you think? Can you be courageous this week? Of course you can. You're fabulous. Let's take a deep breath. If there's a first name of any soul you'd like to introduce into this courageous consciousness of love and support, please speak that name now. Yes. So on behalf of these, on behalf of all who gather, be they seen or unseen, it really makes no difference. On behalf of all, we stand in the truth. We stand in the truth of that life, that love, that wisdom. We stand in the truth of that sufficiency, and it matters not what we name it. We stand in it. We know it. We identify with that eternal truth, not with transient circumstance. This is the gift we give to those whose names have been spoken. This is the gift we give. This is the gift that we inject into consciousness itself. We stand. So it's from this faith, it's with this boldness that we speak then these closing words. The light of God surrounds us.
The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
The light of God surrounds us. The power of God protects. The presence of God watches over us, and all is well. The love of God enfolds us. Wherever we are, God is. We are safe, we are cherished, and all is well.
Close our time together by speaking, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Have a great week.